Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gents. Welcome to High Top Sports Oregon. This show is, of course, brought to you by BetUS. This is the recap show from yesterday. The Oregon Ducks get it done against the UCLA Bruins on the road. I mean, God forbid these boys play before midnight. Would be fantastic for us here at High Top headquarters. That would do us a big pleasure. Our boy Derek was there, hence the reason he is off today. So we'll get him back in the studio as soon as possible. So Cody and the Professor and I will hold it down until then. But looky here, I mean, an iconic day as it was their first win in the Big Ten. It's not a real it's a Big Ten win, but is it though? Because UCLA wasn't a real Big Ten team, because they were also moved, but first Big Ten win for them. Good stuff.
Rivalry still there though. That's sweet that even with some of this teams going to different conferences and adding, you still get a little Oklahoma, Texas, you get a little Oregon, and UCLA. There's still some rivalry pageantry there. So I rivalry's not dead. I love it. I thought the Ducks looked very, very good. They do have some stuff to clean up. They gotta clean up the run game on defense. The run stopping abilities gotta get cleaned up. Running back had a couple big runs, gashers. Gotta get that cleaned up. Obviously, the pick six. I'm not going to count that against Dylan because Tez Johnson fell down.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I just think the offense looks like a well-oiled machine. You can see the speed and athletes just all around the field. And then they give it to the running back just enough to keep him honest. I think they look like Texas does. They look like all the other good teams. Are they as explosive as some of those teams? No, but they're gonna get it down the field.
They have the ability to. We just haven't necessarily seen it yet.
We haven't seen it yet, but Dylan Gabriel's extremely accurate. I bet there's some Sooner fans right now that are they are on suicide watch, wishing they still had him after the cluster that they ran him out of town and what they're dealing with. But yeah, I think Oregon looks like one of those top echelon teams now that we have seen Ole Miss fall and some of these others.
Look, in a week where some big teams went down, Georgia, Ole Miss, to get out with a clean W is always a good one. Now, there is something to state. You said like Texas. Texas hasn't really been forced or pressured at all. They haven't been in under any duress. Oregon has in a weird way. They looked obviously a little sluggish week 1, week 2. That was kind of an argument for Ole Miss. Ole Miss looked really good for the first 4 weeks too, but they didn't play anybody for those first 4 weeks. Oregon has, again, Boise State and Ashon Jeanty. No slouch there. Oregon State, that's a big game. It's a big rivalry game, so there is some juice there. We haven't seen them been pressed yet. They got Michigan State coming up Friday night. We're going to talk about the Friday night, their unis, which are always incredible. That's going to be a fun game. That is going to be, in my opinion, the true initiation into the Big Ten. And then, of course, the following week, Ohio State at Oregon should be an electric one. And that one's going to be the true test for both teams. This Ohio State team is quietly doing things, winning and dominating as well. They're being looked at as a top dog at the moment. I think they're ranked third. Everyone's got Bama, Texas, and Ohio State right now. All 3 undefeated. Oregon did move to number 6. So kudos to them on that. Georgia is at 5th with that one loss to AP polls. AP polls are useless. It just kind of gives you a gauge of where things are at. But I'm really excited to see what they're going to do at Michigan State on Friday as well. Even though Michigan State got handled, I think that'll be kind of a first good gauge of this Oregon versus Ohio State team, because Ohio State just played them. So that's going to be our first little dosage of, okay, when they play the same person, here's how they look, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say this too. Good, really, really good teams. They beat the teams that you should beat. And like UCLA, Oregon should beat UCLA. They have all the talent. And there are some teams out there that, they lose to bad teams. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky, which is just a mid-pack, good defense, but they don't do anything special on offense. That's the difference between championship caliber teams and what Oregon has put together, Ohio State and some others. And that's the difference between a team that's going to barely get into the playoffs, if not get into the playoffs.
It's a great point. Yeah. I mean, look, you kind of think like Oregon should beat UCLA, but that doesn't mean they always get it done, right? Good teams handle the games that they should be getting done. And it seems cliche to say, but it's true. It's very easy to slip up. And that's been kind of Lane's kryptonite, is not winning the games he should, and definitely not winning the games that he has an opportunity, like a big game, a big close. This show, of course, is brought to you by BetUS, ladies and gents. And when you go to betus.com and use the code U2150, you get back 150% on your first 2 deposits, then 125 on that third one. Take a look at that Michigan State game. That line's going to be juicy for the Ducks. I don't believe they covered versus UCLA. It should have been 6-34. The pick six was we just kind of talked about it. I think they got a little lackadaisical. That should have been a touchdown for Oregon. I think Dylan kind of just slung it out there and said whatever. No excuse, but something to definitely take a look at and grow from. Let's talk about Dylan Gabriel here for just a few moments. The Heisman watch, I've been saying it on all the shows, is incredible. It's at this moment, it is one for the ages. It's one of the hardest ones. And Dylan Gabriel, 80.2 QBR, I think he's like 15th in the country, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. Luke Altmaier, up until last night, was the only quarterback in the country with 10 touchdowns and no interceptions. Now he's got an interception with Penn State last night. 1,200 yards. He's on pace for 3,600 yards right now, Dylan Gabriel is. So, a hell of a season, right? A hell of a season.
Who's your 1, 2, and 3 right now, if you were picking the Heisman?
It's Travis Hunter is 1. You can't look away from Ashton Jeanty as number 2. And then, Milroe is my 3. And look, Dylan Gabriel is there. Just, he hasn't had an opportunity to have the moment. That Ohio State game is going to be the moment that kind of puts him back into the conversation. I think the stats are going to be there, right? That's what makes it so interesting. All the stats are there for all these guys right now. But these other ones that I just mentioned have had moments that have made them up in the conversation. Cam Ward is, for a lot of people, he's not high on me, just given the level of talent that they've had to go up against. And it's like, to me, I need, like, his moments have been, you're under pressure and you roll out and you kind of just dump it off. Those aren't moments for me. Those are moments are created because you're not making good decisions, right? Milroe handling himself, composed, making big plays when needed at big moments. That's what I'm looking at. Travis Hunter, big plays. And Ashton Jeanty literally the state of Idaho on his back. He's got 845 yards in 5 games. You can't overlook that. Like, those are maddening numbers. So that's what I'm looking at right now, but it's far from over. But it is one of the most electric watches. I usually don't get too hyped up about the Heisman, but this is a fun one. We are being spoiled with talent on football field this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go Hunter. I'm gonna go Milroe, and then I'm gonna go Gabriel because it's very rare for a running back to be a Heisman winner. There's so few and far between.
And he's beating Derrick Henry's pace. But I agree with you. I think you can't. You took the more like logical route. I took the more like the more emotional. Like, I feel that he should be up there just given what he's done. Like, this is what we're witnessing, and it's not like, they're going to run the ball and he's still doing it. Like, that's what's impressive. That's what's impressive. And so we'll see. Look, plenty of football left. I know maybe Duck fans might be upset about that, but I think look, it's a compliment to just the rest of the league. And like I said, come Saturday when they've got to play them, we'll see. Not to mention the freshman class, Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, an absolute blast. Unreal to watch those guys play. We're spoiled. This is one hell of a year of football. I said it on one of the shows. I said, look, outside of the nonsense with the guy sitting out and redshirting, yeah. This stuff's incredible. And then on Friday night, the Ducks do it again with an incredible uniform done by Dan Laning's wife and his sons. She beat cancer, and this is to honor that and the heroes that helped her and whatnot. What's really cool was that all of them helped design. They all kind of went and designed their own, and then the guys took it and made it what it is. There's small details. So on the bottom of the shoe, there's like a wing tip or something like that one of the sons designed. They took it and put it on the shoe. I guess they would go and eat ice cream when they would visit the mom. And one of the kids put ice cream on the jersey, so they made like little, when you look really close into the uniform, it's like small little indentions of ice cream cones with little O's in it. The mom made like the O with the ribbon. Really, really, really cool design. Another jersey for Derek to add to the wardrobe. And it can come this Friday night. I think yellow, there's something about the yellow too. I think she always wore yellow during her process or something like that too. So really cool thing. And again, a really true shout out to the heroes and the people that were, there to take care of her. So all in all, clean weekend for the Ducks. Go in, get out. Nobody's hurt, no harm, no foul. Again, 11 p.m. game. We got to figure this thing out. Friday night, 9 p.m.
Kickoff.
A little better. At least it's Friday, right? I got 2 days of, like, you guys are killing me. Give me an 8 p.m. kickoff. That extra hour is huge for us. I know it's 6 p.m. for them over there on the West Coast. We're crawling over here, guys. We're
Yeah.
it's the East Coast boys. We're dodging hurricanes and trying to stay alive. Okay, give us some juice here.
Yeah, I always have the Pac-12 After Dark, the old Pac-12 After Dark, where it's Big Ten After Dark now. But usually I'm like just in the bed, just one eye, and I'm in and out of consciousness. I've had 30 bush lights throughout the day. My heart rate has gone up and down because we're in the middle of Bubby playing. So it's just it starts at 7 in the morning to the time I get off and go to bed.
Yeah, that 11 p.m. comes in hot and heavy. Last night I was watching Utah and Arizona, and Utah going down in the Big 12. Very interesting stuff there. Well, boys and girls, hope you guys enjoyed the content. Check out our on our main channel, High Top Sports Monday mashup tomorrow morning at 9:35 to get a full recap of everything this past weekend, which was another fantastic weekend of college football. Of course, the show is brought to you by BetUS. We'll see you boys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.